Good morning. My name is Rob Thacker. I'm the music director here at St. John's. Please rise and body your spirit as we sing our gathering hymn for this month, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In, number 361. A few more dancers. That was fantastic. By the end of the month, maybe we'll all be dancing.
Our chalice lighting this morning is entitled Hope and Defiance, written by Reverend Laura Randall from UUSC. The flaming chalice has been a symbol of hope and defiance in our faith and beyond it since the Unitarian Service Committee began using the image in 1940 as a beacon to those seeking safety, dignity, and justice. As we light this chalice today, may its signal continue to call to all who seek a more just and loving world, and to connect us to all who are working to make it so.
Good morning. It's good to be back with you. I feel like I've been sort of in and out for the last month and a half. I'm Reverend Jenn Gracen, the interim minister here at St. John's, and it's my pleasure to welcome you this morning. Here we offer a community of hope, a community that can journey with you through life. St. John's is a welcoming, inclusive community that celebrates the identities that you bring into this space. You're welcome indeed if you are bringing anger, joy, fear, defiance, or determination into this space. You are welcome if you've been here for 30 years or if this is your first day, in person or online. We value the racial, economic, cultural, age, physical ability, sexual orientation, and gender diversity of all of our members, friends, and visitors. Today we are celebrating the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee's Justice Sunday. Unitarian Universalists have a long history of siding with love, of taking a stand against injustice, of fighting oppression. And we're going to explore that today. There are many great things happening at St. John's. Please review your order of service and the e-news, and you may want to check out the TV in the lobby or the bulletin boards in our fellowship hall. Now I invite you to put your cell phones into church mode. And again, welcome to St. John's.
Please rise and body your spirit as we sing hymn 131, Love Will Guide Us.
Love will guide us,
I invite you to join me in reciting our unison affirmation. This is the mission of our faith, to teach the fragile art of hospitality, to revere both the critical mind and the generous heart, to prove that diversity need not mean divisiveness, and to witness to all that we must hold the whole world in our hands. Every week, we make time in our service to ground ourselves in what we value. We celebrate and honor the joys and the concerns in our lives by coming forward to place stones representing all that we carry into the sand that represents the many and unique parts of our beloved community. If you would like a joy or concern to be read, please leave them on the table. And if you are joining us online, please enter the joy or concern in chat, and we will share them from the pulpit. We place a final stone for everyone who's not with us today, everything that is not expressed. We have a lot to express today as a congregation. We had a long line and we have a few joys and concerns. Our online joys from Roberto. A joy that 700 people showed up in Florence, Kentucky yesterday for the Hands Off protest. And I heard that St. John's made its presence known on April 5th as well. And this is also related. I was fortunate to attend the Hands Off rally in Florence. I saw so many like-minded people fighting for the world and people around them. My sorrow is that a man did a salute at me that we have seen so many times before. We must all keep going no matter what. Amen. This says to be read during the service on April 18th, but we have the 13th and the 20th, so I'm going to assume this is correct to read today. Yes? Okay. Wednesday evening, we found out that Sharon's father, who has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, vascular dementia, and congestive heart failure, had a stroke earlier in the day. Oh, goodness. And he had been admitted to an intensive care unit. Sharon flew to Dallas on Thursday. We both hope she will return sometime in the upcoming week. She will appreciate your consideration as she readjusts to life in Cincinnati. And a final gratitude from Charles for my brother having a move-in date in his new apartment. Life brings us many joys and concerns. I invite you into a spirit of prayer and meditation with these words by Reverend A.J. Van Tyne. Great mystery which grounds and surrounds us, small spark of life and possibility that lives within us even when all else is crumbling to dust. Be with us in our confusion, fear, and even despair. Lead us to navigate them as slowly as possible, resisting the impulse to soothe, to blame, to seek things that feel better than the hurt and the heaviness, but which ultimately leave us isolated or complacent or too suspicious of each other. Let us not flee from our grief, but allow our hearts to be broken open again and again, grieving for all that has already been lost and all that is threatened now. Spirit of life and love and regeneration, help us to feel the wisdom in our bodies. Even with so much going so wrong, our hearts beat with gratitude for blessings, for beauty and joy stubbornly breaking through, for the compassionate companionship of community which welcomes all that we bring with us in these times and doesn't ask us to be smaller than we really are. For solidarity and mutual aid, for the trees and the wind and the stars, their cosmic witness soothing our animal souls, reminding us of the deep impermanence and the deep interconnectedness of all things. Spirit of transformation, may our hearts break open and stretch out to join with the hearts of others who yearn for a freer world. Each heart a building block of a better society. Each life lived for hope and resistance, a prayer for a nobler world. Amen. Blessed be. So now is typically our time for all ages, and we're going to do that. I think most of our children are in the kitchen making pizza for you all. But there is value in this video anyway, so I invite you all to enjoy it.
The flaming chalice is perhaps the most recognized symbol of Unitarian Universalism. At the beginning of every worship service, no matter where they are, Unitarian Universalists light a chalice. But it wasn't always so. Today, you will find the flaming chalice in many forms, shapes, and sizes. You can find it on buildings, on clothing, on jewelry, and in many other places in and outside of Unitarian Universalist congregations. Back in 1939, a Unitarian minister and his wife, Martha and Waitstill Sharp, traveled to Europe on behalf of American Unitarians to see how they could help people targeted by the Nazis. The Nazis were becoming bolder in their discrimination and violence against Jewish people, gay people, Roma people, and people with disabilities. Martha and Waitstill helped people in danger get food and clothing and reach safety. They worked secretively, forging documents, even wearing disguises. This was the beginning of the Unitarian Service Committee, now the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee. Many people trying to escape the Nazis didn't have the papers they needed to travel to safer countries. So the Unitarian Service Committee decided to create their own documents and asked Austrian artist Hans Dusch, himself a refugee, to create a seal for the papers to make them look official. Hans created the flaming chalice, which was printed at the top of the documents issued by the Unitarian Service Committee to help people travel to safety. The flaming chalice, so important to Unitarian Universalists today, was founded on a brave and creative commitment to human rights. Today, the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee continues to support people targeted because of who they are or forced to flee their homes. And around the world, the flaming chalice continues to be a symbol of community, compassion, and justice. In Universalism, Unitarian Universalists light a chalice.
Now we'll sing, but nobody leave. May your mind be open to new learning. May your lips bring truth into the world. May your heart know love and your hands do the work of justice as you go your way in peace. May our mind be open to new learning. May our lips bring truth into the world. May our hands know love and our hands do the work of justice as we go our way in peace. As we go our way in peace.
Our offertory words today are by Paul Dalzell. The offering we take each Sunday is an opportunity to recommit to this place and these people. It is much a ritual as singing together, lighting our chalice, or reciting our unison affirmation. It is a reminder of that form of love we call generosity. It is how we show that we believe it is important to worship together, to help our community, and to say yes to the values of our faith. Your offering will be gratefully received.
Just want to say, since that didn't make it into the program, that is, I don't know if I'll say it right, but that's Aqua by Ryuichi Sakamoto. So, it was suggested by Masako. So thank you for that suggestion.
Good morning. I'm Dick Fencl, and I can hear your silent cries. Oh, no, not again. It seems like every time I come up here, I'm asking for money. But this time, before I do the responsive reading, I'd like to tell you that as a result of your generosity, last week we were able to send over $250 to the UUSC. So somewhere in the world, a marginalized community is saying thank you. So give yourself a round of applause, please. So if you'll read with me, please. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied to a single garment of destiny.
Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
There are some things in our social system to which all of us ought to be maladjusted.
Hatred and bitterness can never cure disease and fear. Only love can do that.
We must evolve for all human conflict a method which rejects revenge, aggression, and retaliation.
The foundation of such a method is love.
Before it is too late, we must narrow the gaping chasm between our proclamations of peace and our lowly deeds which precipitate and perpetuate war.
One day we must come to see that peace is not merely a physical goal as we seek, but a means by which to arrive at that goal.
We must pursue peaceful ends through peaceful means.
We shall do without the mountains of despair, stone of hope.
That was from words from Martin Luther King. Thank you.
The sun has moved just enough I can see my script. Imagine it. Your best friend and colleague has called you over and says, "We are undertaking the first intervention against evil by the denomination." He invites you to consider going overseas to assist refugees in getting to safety. Now imagine it's also a time when the entire world feels as though it's on the verge of war. Would you go? If you're like the 17 people who were asked before Waitstill and Martha Sharp, the answer would be no. The year was 1939, and Martha and Waitstill Sharp were asked by the American Unitarian Association to go to Czechoslovakia. By this time, Nazi Germany had turned its eyes toward the country, demanding the return of ethnic German citizens. When Germany annexed a contested part of Czechoslovakia, Unitarian churches in the U.S. were shocked. They had close ties with Unitarian churches there. This was the moment faced by Martha and Waitstill Sharp. Waitstill had been ordained a Unitarian minister in 1933, the same year Roosevelt became president of the United States and Hitler became chancellor of Germany. In 1939, Waitstill, a lawyer who had gone back to school to become a minister, had been serving as a Unitarian minister for 6 years. Martha's family had kicked her out of the house when she received a scholarship to go to college. She trained as a social worker and earned a master's in literature. When she and Waitstill received the call, she was on temporary leave from her position as director of girls' work at Hull House. The couple had 2 small children, a young son and an infant daughter. But they were bothered by what was happening in Czechoslovakia. Waitstill told Martha that he wanted to go, but he wouldn't go without her. So they decided to go, leaving their children in care of close friends in the congregation. In a farewell sermon before they left, Waitstill said, "It is too late to turn our back on what we know is happening. We must face the evil that faces us." Martha and Waitstill traveled to Prague, the capital of Czechoslovakia. Refugees were fleeing from all over, including Germany and parts of Czechoslovakia that Germany had already taken. So before they headed to Prague, they were taught to destroy documents, how to code memos and papers, and how to make connections with people. They turned out to be important lessons. When they arrived in Prague, they found train stations full, and the trains were filling up. They were met by Norbert Čapek, the person who created the flower communion we're going to be doing on May 4th, and that almost every UU church does to this day. Norbert explained that these people on the trains were men who were fleeing. With $40,000 that had been raised by Unitarians in the U.S., Martha and Waitstill started the Commission for Service in Czechoslovakia. Less than a month after they arrived, the Nazis invaded and occupied all of the country. Their offices were almost overwhelmed with people wanting to get out. They focused on trying to get those who had been especially targeted by Nazis out first: editors, pastors, professors, intellectuals, anyone whose record made it necessary for them to flee. The challenge was creating documents and connecting refugees with jobs and places to live in other countries, which were often requirements of a visa. They worked closely with the American Friends Service Committee, the Quakers, who were also there to get people out. They also worked as a relief agency, handing out supplies and providing meals to refugees who were in Prague. The Commission was the most significant private relief agency in the city. Martha and Waitstill faced constant fear. Their faith and their belief that the future of history is in human hands gave them the strength to go on. They knew their hotel was being searched frequently by the Gestapo. They knew they were being followed. They knew every piece of mail they sent was being read. Martha tells a story about going to meet a refugee, Mr. X, and when she got in the cab, another man was in the front seat next to the driver. She suspected he might be Gestapo, so she asked to be let out a few blocks from where the meeting was. She turned a corner and slipped into a doorway. Sure enough, the man who had been in the other seat came around the corner after her. Luckily, she wasn't seen. Martha and Waitstill had thousands of names on their list, thousands of people they were trying to get to safety. And they hoped that the United States government, which had a yearly limit of 2,800 Czechoslovakians, could be convinced to open their doors wider. Their requests were ignored. In the United States, there was still a strong anti-immigrant sentiment, anti-Semitism, and deep racism. Sounds unfortunately familiar. In the midst of fear, in the midst of their dedication to save lives, Martha and Waitstill faced difficult choices on a daily basis. In a 2013 documentary released by Ken Burns called Defying the Nazis, The Sharps War, how many have seen it? A few. I was delighted to see that Joetta had mentioned it recently on our Facebook page. UUs have a long history of defying Nazis and fighting for justice. And Carol tells me that the local PBS station will be showing it Monday, that's tomorrow, from 4 to 5:30, and on Friday from 9 to 10:30. There are also other ways you can get it, like the library. In this documentary, the creators share a story from Martha, who said, "I shall never forget the shock when I saw a Jewish man being abused on the street. I would have cried aloud in anger had Waitstill not silenced my spontaneous outburst. All my life I have hated unfairness." So I want to pause for a moment to explore this point. I think this was a really important moment. I find her experience particularly valuable for us right now. I'm not sure what I would have done in that situation. Would I have been too afraid to speak out, knowing my life would be in danger? I would like to think that I would have been like her and been outraged enough that it overrode any fear. But then, would I have been clear-headed enough to keep quiet and aligned with my mission? Integrity and often faith can give us a guiding star, something to focus on when fear or outrage would get in the way. And I think that's what happened for them, for Martha and Waitstill in that moment. It's likely that few of us have faced that level of danger. But have you been confronted with moments where your integrity and the situation around you clashed with each other? Sometimes the lessons we learn about who we are in those moments are the most important and defining lessons in our lives. Sometimes integrity requires sacrifice, and sometimes it asks us to make hard choices. And sometimes, paradoxically, integrity might require us to compromise our integrity. We've talked about moral imagination a few times recently. Philosopher Mark Johnson reflects on moral imagination when he reminds us acting morally in a situation often requires more than strength of character. He suggests that includes envisioning a range of possibilities when trying to solve an ethical challenge. I don't believe that is something we can simply do in the moment, but it's something we need to practice. Learn yourself and consider how you've responded to ethical challenges in the past. What instincts and responses are you proud of? What do you wish you had done differently? What was the voice of doubt or fear in a situation? Considering how we might deal with a situation, understanding our own fear triggers, and most importantly, thinking about how we want to respond in the future. This is the way we can train ourselves to respond well. So let's go back to that for a moment. If Martha had objected or cried out when they witnessed the man being abused, she and Waitstill would have been arrested. At this point in their time, Gestapo was actively looking for a reason to arrest or expel activists and people from outside the country. They had shut down agencies that were providing food, including one of the programs Waitstill had been supplying, and they were regularly now searching the Sharps' rooms and following them. If Martha had objected, if she had cried out, it would have put their life and their mission in danger. But it must have hurt to hold back, to place the needs of the many over the needs of the few or the one. Was it the right thing? I suspect it was both right and wrong, but I'm not sure that there was a better choice. For the person being abused, there was. After they had been there a few months, Martha undertook a dangerous mission, trying to get 35 people out at one time by train. The list included writers, journalists, professors, orphaned children. And to do that, they had to go through Germany. Their documents were checked at every stop. And at one point, everyone was taken off the train. Martha's list of people she was escorting was examined against the list of people who she was traveling with. 2 journalists were not on her list, so they were going to be taken away. Martha turned away from the Gestapo officers who were questioning them and wrote the men's names on the list. And then she turned back and showed the officers they had simply missed the names. And it worked. They let everyone get back on board. But can you imagine the courage it took to just do that? She saved lives. When they had been there a bit more than 6 months, Waitstill left the country for a conference and to raise money. And Martha received a tip that she was going to be arrested. She escaped Prague and joined Waitstill. They returned home. Over the next year, the American Unitarian Association established the Unitarian Service Committee, the ancestor to our modern Unitarian Universalist Service Committee. Frederick Elliott, then the president of the American Unitarian Association, essentially voluntold Waitstill and Martha they were going back to Europe. They were going to Paris, but before they arrived, the Germans occupied that city. So the couple ended up in Lisbon with others. The Unitarian Service Committee continued the Sharps' previous work, getting political refugees and academics out of German-controlled territory. To do this, you needed documents and connections. This was the moment that the Unitarians decided they needed a symbol, something unique that could be used to communicate across language barriers that would look official on documents and give our paperwork more credibility. A Czechoslovakian cartoonist and refugee named Hans Deutsch designed something, an early version of the flaming chalice. I find it deeply meaningful that the chalice that we use as a symbol in our UU congregations today, that we light to signify the beginning of our services every single week, was born from this, was born from our desire as a denomination to create greater love and justice in this world. Of course, there is more to the story of the Sharps than I can cover here today. They weren't done saving people or facing challenges. I encourage you to read about them. There are many books. And consider watching the documentary I mentioned called Defying the Nazis. Today, the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, one of the many legacies of their work, continues the fight for justice in the world. And one way they are doing this is through the Resistance Network, And information about joining that is in your order of service. It's the blue paper, right, Carol? Yes. My beloved spiritual companions, we are people on a journey, on the path to building the beloved community. We will be called to live in love, to make difficult choices, and to keep moving toward justice. We have something to learn from those who have been on this path before, and we have a lot to learn from one another and ourselves. We can make moral, ethical choices, and we too can intervene against evil. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen. Going to give you a few moments to greet one another in honor of our pizza party. I invite you to share your favorite pizza topping, and we are welcoming to all people. If you do not like pizza, you may share your favorite food. We will call you back together for announcements. We have some very interesting announcements today, so I'm encouraging you to find a seat, even if it's a different one.
Okay. Sounds like we had lots to talk about. In the next few weeks, we have a number of things coming up. As you notice in your bulletin, you can still make your pledge. This is the last day of the pledge drive, but your contributions are always welcome. There are other announcements about the covenant table and the welcome house in your bulletin. For the spring cleanup, there's one more expansion of it, and that is there's a sign-up sheet on the green sanctuary bulletin board, which is in Crow Pfeiffer. When you go in, go to the left past where the food is, that's where the sign-up sheet is. And you can sign up if you can help this Saturday for the cleanup to make our building look lovely. Joetta?
Morning, everybody. Joetta Pro, Board President, here to call to your attention on the blue handout here, conversation with the board about our next ministry. Next ministry? What? What do you mean? Rev Jenn, we love her, right? We do, don't we? We love her a lot. And the board is very happy to be working with her during her 3-year contract with us, okay? So this is year 2 of her 3 years as an interim minister, and we, the board, will be deciding about the next ministry process for St. John's. And this meeting here, these 3 times that you can attend, is your opportunity to learn more about that. So there's 2 times on Zoom and 1 in person. During the coming week, we invite you to join us for conversation with the board. Thank you.
Okay, and I'm just going to repeat the times for the movie. If you haven't yet seen that documentary, it's tomorrow on the PBS station, tomorrow from 4 to 5:30, or again on Friday night at 9 o'clock. And our very last reminder is that if you're more interested in the UUSC, this note at the bottom tells you how to find more about the Resistance Network. It also will let you see the website about what the UUSC is. Dick and I have been involved for a long time, and we encourage you to learn more about it because it's just a wonderful way that we as UUs are present all around the world. Thank you. And now, a benediction, huh? Sing first, okay.
Please rise and body your spirit as we sing The Fire of Commitment, 1028 in your teal hymnal.
We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are not perfect, but we are perfectly fitted for this day. We are not without fault, but we can be honest to face our past as we chart a new future. We are the ones we have been waiting for. May we be bold and courageous to chart that new future. May we have faith in a future that is not known. We are the ones we have been waiting for. Go in peace, go in love. Blessed be.